Hey everybody, good morning, welcome to the channel. Thank you all so much for continuing to support me here on Andrea Speaks TV. Happy, what's today y'all? Tuesday. It's Tuesday, right? Happy Tuesday on this rainy day in Georgia. Y'all, I hope the windshield wiper blades are not making too much noise. I apologize if they are. I'll try to make this video quick, but I had some important things, important topics that I wanted to come on and talk about this morning. I want to talk about a little bit about food shortages and food prices in 2023. Listen, y'all, again, I want to say before I talk about that, I want to say thank you all so much for your well wishes, your kind words. I was a part of an awesome production this weekend where I was a singer in the production, and it was just an awesome, incredible experience. So thank you all so much for your kind words. I did read your kind words. Please give me maybe a few days to respond to your comments across many of my videos. You all know I like to, this is an interactive channel, and I do like to respond to your comments, but because I've been so busy and also, you know, having to travel back and forth, I'm, you know, working to get caught up on that, okay? But I did want to come on and say thank you all so much. You know, I want to say this, you know, if there's something in life that you want to do, or you've always wanted to do, but maybe you felt like you didn't have time, or, you know, something you were good at and you just kind of put it on the back burner, you know, I would encourage you to, you know, do what you love, do what feels good, do what you're passionate about. Never think that you're too old. You know, I could have talked myself out of, and I almost did, you know, talk myself out of even auditioning for the opportunity that was presented, you know. But if it's something that you love and, you know, you feel like you've been blessed with gifts and talents, you know, use them. You know, never feel like you're too old or you're not good enough. You never know what may become of those, you know, opportunities. And always believe in yourself. I wanted to tell you that because, you know, those are words that I even, you know, go by and I tell myself as well. Listen, y'all, I want to talk about food shortages, okay? We've already talked about here on the channel several times, okay? You can look at the many videos. I even have a playlist on food shortages. We know that if you are not seeing food shortages already, expect to see more food shortages in 2023, okay? You may say, well, okay, Andrea, why do you say that? The reason why I say that is because less food is being grown today, okay, or yesterday, we can say, right? 2022 to harvest tomorrow, okay? Andrea, why do you say less food was being grown? Well, I say that for several reasons. One that I'll talk about is unusual weather patterns, okay? We see what's happening right now in the state of California. Also, we can look and see what's happening across all of, you know, pretty much every part of the United States, right, as well as other parts of the world, have experienced some form, you know, of severe weather. I know what, just a few weeks ago, here in the South, in Georgia, where I am, we experienced a winter storm. Many people, even some people still to this day, right, even though that was, what, a few weeks ago, some people are still dealing with the effects of that. Water, you know, the water pipes bursting because of the extremely cold temperatures. And even more recently here in Georgia, with the severe weather, which I just reported on just a few days ago, there are still some cities and communities who are, you know, literally picking up the pieces from, you know, damaging tornadoes that were, you know, later confirmed, and they are rebuilding. All of these factors, along with the fact that, you know, at one point there was a fertilizer shortage, the cost of fertilizer, you know, farmers are bearing many costs. I don't know, you know, I don't want to say that the American farmer is someone who's forgotten about, but, you know, they are definitely farmers, both men and women, by the way, are definitely, you know, crying out for help and, you know, letting it be known, hey, you know, we're in a real crisis here. A crisis is coming. Why would we not listen to the people who grow the food that is sold in the markets, sold in the grocery stores? Why would we not listen to them and pay attention if they're saying, hey, you know, out of 100% of my field, I was only able to use 40% of it to grow crops. quite naturally, and I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying anyone said this, but in many cases, farmers have had to, there's a certain word for it. Maybe you all can, share that in the comments, but they've had to, I don't know if it's called destroying the crops, but they had to do away with part of the land. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all may know what I'm talking about, but there's a process where, you may not be able to use all of your farmland for whatever reason, droughts, the weather, the condition of the soil. They were not even able to use all of their farmland to plant, grow, and harvest the crops. So quite naturally, if less is being grown, that means that for people like you and I who go to the markets, grocery stores, and shop, that means there's going to be less available. Okay, now let me tell you the concern even further with that. A lot of people, some that have even shared, some of you have even shared on the channel, that you're not seeing shortages in your area. And I always say the same thing when someone says that, count that as a blessing that you're not seeing shortages in your particular area, right? But at the same time, I also say, don't be fooled by what you see in the stores today, okay? Many of you have shared, and I've even seen this, as well. We've talked about how, on the shelves, they are adding more non-food items. I even did a video, you can search here on the channel, where I was saying, is Kroger becoming like Walmart? I took you into a Kroger. I recorded a video there, and I showed you how in the middle of the store, basically, where they would normally have aisles of food and things like that, it's like they had a whole kitchenware section. You could not only buy your groceries at Kroger, but you could also buy the appliances to cook your groceries, okay? Slow cookers, coffee makers. If you needed some forks, a set of plates, cup, you could buy your whole silverware set and more right there at Kroger. And so what's happening is, and I don't want to say they're trying to trick us, but what I will say is I believe the grocery stores are having to re-strategize and say, hey, if we don't have available products, and to fill up our shelves or fill up different sections of our store, I believe that these stores are thinking of other ways. Hey, how can we stock our stores to appear full, to make it seem like there's not any shortages, and things like that. So I believe, again, this is just me thinking, putting two and two together, seeing what's happening, actually going to the stores, seeing patterns. I believe that's what they're doing. We just got past a holiday season, right? Thanksgiving, holiday, Christmas. Of course, they're going to have the stores stocked up with food items, because quite naturally, people, it's that time of year where people are cooking and baking and things of that nature. Speaking of baking, y'all, have you, or baking, not bacon, baking, have you all seen the price of eggs? Really, have you all seen the price of eggs recently? I've talked about that here on the channel. I also have several videos where I've talked about food prices, specifically eggs. And, I'm starting, I told you all I'm a part of different community groups, neighborhood groups, and things like that. And I'm starting to see, okay, this is good, but then at the same time, it's like, okay, now that you see what's going on, you need to make a plan. More and more people, okay, I'm going to share some of the posts on the community tab here on our channel, so be on the lookout. But many people, okay, are starting to make jokes and memes about the prices of eggs in their area. Have you all seen that? Y'all, I've been trying to tell people about eggs for how long now? So much so that I was even, telling people, hey, you may want to do your research. There's even, if you can't find eggs, there's even egg powder. Okay, these are things I have shared, in an effort to, help people be prepared, especially with all these talks of like bird flu, and for whatever reason, bird flu being one of them, they've had to, they've lost a lot of, chickens, things like that, having to do away with them because of the possibility of illness and them not wanting to spread it to humans, things like that. The price of eggs have skyrocketed. So much so, like I said, that people are making jokes and memes I saw one picture where someone was saying how, again, they're just joking, but I don't know, they could be real. I don't know. There was a picture where someone had eggs laid out and they were like bagging eggs. So like, for example, I'm not telling you what to do, y'all. I'm just telling you about the joke I saw, right? For example, they were saying, they're going to start splitting up eggs. You buy a dozen or 2 dozen or however many, and they start splitting them up and selling them like 3 eggs for this amount. Okay, that's what people were saying. I also saw some jokes mentioned where people were just saying they were just going to fill up a whole refrigerator with eggs. And then there was one, now I don't know, you all let me know if this is something you all have heard of. I don't think I've ever heard of this or known of anyone doing this, but people were actually talking about freezing eggs, like not freezing the whole egg, right, with the shell. But tell me if this is a real thing. Now, I'm not telling you all to do this. I saw this and I said, wow, I didn't know that this was a thing. But I even saw someone, we're talking about eggs, y'all, right? Freezing eggs, preserving eggs. I even saw somebody, I don't know if this is a real thing or not, I'm just telling you what I saw. But they were talking about how you can freeze eggs. You can actually, but not freezing the whole egg, including the shell. You can crack it, pour it out into like ice trays and freeze it. Is that a thing, y'all? I've never heard of that, never seen that done. I've never done it. Never remember even seeing my family do anything like that growing up. But yeah, y'all, this is, people are waking up. People are seeing, hey, food. I'm seeing more and more people talk about prices of food, and that's good that people are becoming more aware and seeing what's going on. But again, what are you going to do about it? Now that you know that there are food shortages. And let me say this too about the food shortages. Don't be fooled by what you see now. What we see in the store now is a result of the previous year's 2021, maybe the beginning of 2022 harvest. I don't know, later on this year, we don't know what the stores will look like. Okay, that's why I always say, knowing that all of these things are coming, right? Even if you see higher prices today, which I believe we all do, no matter where we are, still stock up, continue to stock up, get the things that you need now, so that you're, at the prices that they currently are. Okay, if you didn't, if you weren't able to start stocking up last year, and I tell you all about how canning jars, the mason jars last year, and the price that I paid last year is half of what they are today. It's like the price has doubled. And so, I say this also on the channel. I say, today's prices are not tomorrow's prices. So if you're like, man, food is just too expensive or it's too high, it's no point in me stocking up, I would caution you and say, hey, you still want to get what you can, even at today's prices, because based on the research I've done, based on projections, based on the fact that, you have farmers across the world saying, hey, we were only able to produce a certain percentage of our total crop. We know that it's going to be less food available. Please make sure that you continue, or that you start preparing, getting the things that you need so that you and your family can survive through these current times. And a little bit along the way adds up. If you can only go to the store and buy $10 worth of this, or $20 worth of that, by all means do it, and just build your emergency food supply and your survival needs up over time, including water. Okay, I always say this: make sure that you're adding water to your emergency food supply and your survival needs. Also, I would encourage you to find out who your local farmers are. Especially if you live in a city where there's only one grocery store. Okay, I know how that is. I grew up in a town where, I won't say there was only one grocery store, but grocery shopping was limited to only certain areas. So, that's something where there weren't a lot of options, is what I'm saying. You didn't have your Whole Foods and your Sprouts and your Publix and all of those different options. So you, especially if you live in a rural community or a small town, or maybe you live in an area where you're miles and miles away from grocery stores. Think it only takes just one crisis, and you don't want to end up in a situation where something has happened and the whole town is trying to flock to the grocery store at once, and either they're only letting a certain amount of people shop, or they're either they're letting they're letting a certain amount of people in the store to shop, or they're placing limits on what food you can and cannot buy. Let me ask you all this: do you think that they're going to start back with the limits? As we see more food shortages, putting limits on what you can buy, even rationing food. These are things that we need to be thinking about, y'all. I hope that I did a video where I talked about how back during the days of World War II, even maybe around World War I, World War II, that was a real thing here in the United States, y'all. They ration food, okay? Each family got a coupon. You can only get a certain amount of this, so many pounds of that. And when it ran out, you just had to wait until it rolled back around and you got another coupon. I don't know why people are not, for the people that know that and have heard of that, I don't know why people think that something like that is so ancient that it couldn't possibly, happen in this day in time. I know that, again, you could say, okay, Andrea, you're talking about something that happened in the 20s, 30s, 40s, something like that. But hey, we know that history has a way of repeating itself. And when you look at a lot of what's happening now, in this current day and age in society, a lot of it does resemble and almost mirrors a lot of some events that happened in the past. So get to know who your local farmers are. Support your local farmers. There are many people who own land or have land, and they grow food and they will sell it directly to the community. So you may want to do some research in your own local area. Know where your food is coming from. I did a video where I talked about, do you know where your food is coming from? I talked about the fact that, as we see more and more shortages, expect for there to be, and they're even doing this now. Maybe some of you all can talk about it if you know what I'm talking about, but they're making food. They have a process where they're making food, even meat, okay, even some vegetables bigger. Have you been in the grocery store and maybe you were shopping for, I was shopping for bell peppers, right? And I told you I mostly get organic, but huge bell peppers, y'all, and they weren't organic, right? Huge bell peppers. I'm like, how are bell peppers this big? They have a chemical process. I'm assuming it's chemical, but they're able to go in and make some changes, okay, to the food item to where it's bigger, okay? Some people say that way you're paying more per pound. You're getting more food for your money. But as we start to see more food shortages, we're going to see more fake meat, fake foods pop up as alternatives, right? Someone on the channel mentioned, and I've heard this before, I'm actually doing more research about it, cricket flour, okay? That's a real thing, y'all. They, they're even looking at bugs, okay? Bugs are being used as a source of protein. Y'all think I'm playing, don't you? Research it, y'all, okay? Hold on, y'all. Let me put it. I'm going to pause the video for just a moment. I'm going to come back on. I got to put an order in. Hold on. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much. I'm grabbing breakfast quickly. We're going to start. So what I was saying is, y'all, because of meat prices, right, because of meat shortages, they're actually, and this is not something that just popped up that they started this year or last year. This has been in the works now from my understanding, for several years. They're actually looking at insects. They're using insects, y'all, and saying that could be a source of protein. So as one subscriber mentioned, they're using things like cricket flour. I don't know, if it's on the shelves now here in America to purchase. But I'm gonna, do a video about this. But our Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, they have been approving some of these unusual food items, y'all. I hate to even call it food items, because who would ever think about eating cricket flour? Y'all know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the thought of that. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me at all. But these are things that are happening. So, again, not only should you, if I could give any advice or suggestions, things that I'm doing as well, I would say to continue to stock up on food items. Get what you can, do your research. There are several ways to preserve food, whether it's canning, growing your own garden. I know I have seeds. I'm going to be doing some planting as well. I told you all that the extreme heat that we had over the summer and even into the early parts of the fall, it just really devastated the crops that I was growing. So it's kind of like I basically had to start over. And so I'm going to be planting, okay? And I'll do some videos about that as well. Making sure that you tap in with your local farmers, your local markets, supporting local. Again, y'all, we don't know how this thing is going to be going for certain, for sure, with these food shortages, and even the fact that, eventually they may go back to placing limits on what we can and cannot buy in these stores. So, it's a good idea. I think it's a good thing to know your local farmers, people that can, what am I trying to say? People that can, that you can go and purchase, food directly from the farmers. Food prices are increasing. Someone suggested on the channel that I, maybe keep up with them. Maybe that's something that we all can do and just share the changes that we're seeing over time. I think that would be a good idea. So pretty soon, maybe one day this week, I'll get a chance to go into the stores and actually show you all the prices that I'm seeing. And I'll also share on the community tab as well. Okay. All right, y'all. So let me know your thoughts. Food. Oh, let me also say this. Because of food shortages, because of food prices, many people, maybe you've even done this, many people may have to make the decision, hey, we used to eat this, now it costs this price, we're going to go without. Or some people may look at alternatives. One thing I was thinking about, how can I help people still eat healthy or think about healthy options, even in an environment of high food prices. Hold on, y'all, I'm getting my food. Okay, I had to pick up my food. I forgot what I was saying, but again, y'all, make sure stay alert, stay aware of what's happening in your local community. As I always say, it doesn't have to be something happening on a national level or a global level. It could be something going on right in your own local community that you need to know about. Okay, so again, thank you all so much. Oh, this is what I was talking about, y'all. So basically what I was saying was, I've been thinking about, as food prices become more and more expensive, and as food shortages are increasing as well, I was thinking about, okay, how can I help people still prepare, or still think about, even though food costs more and it may not be as available, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to cut back and eat unhealthy foods. So I'm going to be putting a playlist together where I'm actually showing you, different ways that you can still put a meal together, okay? A meal or even some sides, and still eat healthy, okay? Even in an environment where food prices are increasing and food, items may be scarce or limited in availability. So I'll be putting that together. In the meantime, you all, please make sure you check out the many videos I have on the channel. You can even suggest videos, topics that you would like for me to cover. And as always, thank you all so much for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you all. Be blessed, stay safe, keep preparing. I know it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, y'all, preparing, and it's trying to think about, okay, what will I need to get in this particular situation, this, that, in different situations. We can't always think of everything that may happen, right? But I feel like we can pretty much have, the basics covered. Food, water, medical needs. Still seeing medicine shortages, y'all. Medicine shortages. So if you are someone who, if you're someone who takes over-the-counter medicine, things like that, you may want to think about stocking up on whatever you feel like is necessary for you and your family. Do your research. I'm not telling you what to do. Or if you're someone who, you are looking at, or you don't necessarily take medicine, you like to just use natural remedies, things like that. I think that's, I'm gonna do a video about that, because with more and more medicine shortages, and I'm realizing and learning that, many of the medicines are made overseas, which is also kind of concerning as well. Do they have the same checks, quality controls as we would have here in the U.S.? But that's a topic for a whole nother video. So again, that's something that, you should consider as well, be thinking about. In several areas, well, I'll say this as a part of the, in the community groups that I'm a part of, many community groups, many people have said that, if they've ever had to call 911, or recently calling 911, it takes people, it takes the medical professionals, police officers, it takes them, over an hour or 2 hours. It takes them much, much longer to come out now. So if you get in a situation, or maybe your neighbor or someone love gets into a situation, you may have to help provide medical assistance to them in the event that someone cannot come out as quick. So, you may want to have, medical kits. I told you all I have one in my bag that actually has many of the tools, supplies, equipment that ambulances use as well. So, you can look up the various medical first aid kits. It's not always just a little kit that has Band-Aids and cream and things like that. There are some out there that have much more advanced tools and different things like that. So again, y'all, as I think of these things, I share with you all. We're living in some unusual times, and it's just best to be as prepared as possible, okay? All right, again, y'all be blessed, stay safe. This video was a little bit longer. I know I said I wasn't going to keep y'all this long, but as I think about things, I share them. Stay tuned for more news and commentary you can use right here on the channel. I'll be uploading videos all week, and if I get a chance, I'll post on the community tab when I'll be able to go live and sit down and answer some of your questions, okay? Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you. Stay tuned. Have a great week this week. Let's claim that it's gonna be a great week, a wonderful week for all of us. And thank you all so much for supporting me right here on Andrea Speaks TV.